For people that watch the channel, you know the majority of the projects I post on here are customer-based products. And I've been working with customers long enough to know that one of the things they have the hardest time deciding on is going to be the door pulls for furniture. And that's just because the wrong pulls, there's so many options, and the wrong pull can really change the look and or ruin the look of a piece of furniture. So when my current customer asked if I could recreate some pulls they found, at first I thought I would be using the lathe, but when they sent me the photo and I realized they were essentially just rounded over squares, I was pretty excited to approach this project because it's a nice change of pace and lets me flex my creative muscles. I also think aesthetically speaking it was a really nice design that would match the piece. So all I did was, the pulls they sent me were oversized, so I had to work a little bit with my own dimensions. I roughed down my stock to a little over an inch tall, and these are only about 1.5 inches wide. They wanted a more standard size pull. So then on the back, I just marked out the thickness that would include these meeting because I'm making them all in one stock. So the datas I'm going to cut are essentially double wide. But on the edges, I'm only removing about 1/4 inch of material, and I'm leaving about 1/4 inch of a lip up top. So I did that with the dado stack on my table saw, and like I said, I just removed about 1/4 inch by 3/4 inch rabbet on the side to essentially give me a T. That was the beginning of this process. Then I went through and I put about a 1/2 inch dado stack in here, and I could remove that material in the middle because that thickness in the middle ended up being about 1/2 inch. So not only was I excited to do this project, but I thought it would make a great YouTube video because a lot of times pulls are going to be circular. A lot of people don't have a lathe or don't feel comfortable using a lathe. So this design is perfect. You can make it with tools you most likely already have in your shop, and it was not difficult to make as you'll see in the video. Now once I was looking at it, I realized it was a little bit too tall. Unfortunately, cutting it down now was a little bit of an unsafe process. So in order to make this sit flat on my table saw, you can see I just have a scrap piece of stock that's riding along with this so that I don't have to worry about this tipping over into the blade. Made it a little bit more of a safer cut. It's not a perfect cut on the bottom because of the way I did it, but I could just sand those down. And then I'm just working off a photo, so I'm matching the arc of that piece. Like I said, the ones for the pulls they sent me were almost 3 inches, so they're going to look a little bit different than the photo. Obviously they're smaller, but I was able to match it pretty closely. I just made that arch with a roll of electrical tape. It's essentially just connecting the bottom portion of those two edges of the T. So to start this process, I'm just using a small hand plane. I like these smaller planes for stuff like that. It gives me a lot of control. I'm also working with the fact I can't move the buffet that I'm making on the table, so it gives me a little bit more arm room. And all I'm doing is I'm taking down the edges, obviously, but then I'm going to focus on about the first inch of the material, and I'm just going to remove all the material perfectly down to my line. You can't see my head in this video, but I could see over the top of the piece, and I could remove this just to get that front arc to match. Then as I go now, because I have that thickness in the front there, you can see my eye is going to follow the thickness all the way down, the point I'm pointing out with my finger, and that's how I'll know that I'm matching that arc perfectly down the whole piece that I'm working on. From the side view, you can see a little bit better. At this point, I'm taking it down pretty far, so it's maybe 1/8 of an inch of material left, and I'm just matching that 1/8 of an inch all the way down in order to get this as perfect as possible from the front to the back so they all match. But it was only about 5 or 10 minutes worth of plane work, and you don't really see it, but I made 2 of these. I made extras of these. Whenever you have a process like this where you're setting up multiple tools, making multiple cuts, I always make more than I need to. It would be a real shame to get to the end of this process, accidentally mess up a pull, and then have to completely create an entire set of these. So I ended up making 2. And then once I just went over it with the orbital, this is what it's going to look like. You can see I have a nice subtle arch and all of my pieces in there. There's a little bit of tear out from the table saw, but I'll be sanding all of this down and you won't notice any of that. If I was to change the order of operations on any of this, it would be the drill press, and that is because it obviously would be easier to have drilled the holes for my threaded inserts that I'm putting in these before I made that curve. Just wasn't paying attention, and it was easy enough to put it in the vise and cut it, but it would have been an even easier process to have done it before I curved them. But basically I just marked center on all my pieces, drilled that hole, and then once that was done, I can now cut these into singular poles. I'm using my miter gauge with a stop on my table saw, so I can just slide it against my stop and then send it through the saw, and they'll all be the same width at this point. And then those are my knobs. So they match the picture pretty closely. And I forgot to mention that these poles are about $17 online, which is just obscene, the amount people charge for hardware these days. I had all this done in roughly about an hour in my shop, whereas if they had ordered them with shipping and all that, it would have been close to $200 just for these 8 cabinet poles. I did have to run to the store to get some threaded inserts because I wanted to get these done in a day, so I didn't want to order anything on Amazon. I showed you the size of them. I basically got what was in stock. These are found in the pull-out drawers in the hardware aisle in the big box stores, and they're always notoriously misstocked, so those were kind of what I was left with. I like to double up on those by putting epoxy in there just so I can be sure they'll stay in place over the course of pulling on all of these drawers for however long they're using this furniture. And then, even though I showed you how to make the poles, just for continuity, I'm going to show you real quickly how I mounted them. I'm going to use a laser level for that. I drilled where I needed to on the drill press, and then I could pop this back in place and drill through my maple drawer box, and that's how I know they'll be perfectly in place. I don't have my drawer fronts attached at this point, so with those 2 holes I put some double-sided stick tape on there. I could pull the drawer box out, put the screw in place, attach the knob, and then slide everything back in place, and that just helps make sure my reveals stay perfect once I put all of this in place. Because this is hardwood, I didn't want to fill the back side of the drawer box with a bunch of hardware because this stuff needs to move, so I put 2 screws in it before I finish, but that is basically what it looks like. I was really happy when the customer sent me this design. You can see with a simple piece of furniture like that, where you're focusing on the grain, the wrong pull can completely change the look of the piece and actually ruin it because your eye will be distracted by essentially an ugly pull. I'm in the process of finishing this piece, so this is kind of what it's going to look like. I don't have it back together yet, but it's a nice simple project that could save you a lot of money.